Hello and welcome to today's stream. Firstly, I'd like to quickly apologize that we're using the PNG. But I forgot to turn on VTube Studio, and if I turn it on now, it might crash the camera. So we're just gonna do the PNG instead today. Ooh, but you guys voted for it, and today we're gonna start the Zaku desert type. Or the desert type Zaku, rather, Pink Panther, with some prep. And in preparation for it, I actually watched Gundam for once. I sat down and watched through all of Gundam Origin, all 6 hours of it. Ooh, just binged through it all. Ooh. And what I'd say about it is I liked it, but at the same time, I'm also happy it's not canon. Let's get out. This is going to be the first time, and also welcome Gundam. How's it going? Yeah, Gundam was there. Ooh. And actually, I'm probably going to be using the chat from the Discord as kind of like a way to jog my memory for the show. But I remember hearing, actually repeatedly, that Gundam the Origin makes it more sense if you just see it as Char lying to Camille. Like Char going like, hey Camille, you want to hear my origin story? And Camille goes, no. And then Char just tells him anyways and completely lies the entire time. Like he gets the broad strokes correct, but the little details, complete BS. And if you view it like that, it's really enjoyable. I hope you are having a good breakfast. I'm actually pulling up the chat right now. Ooh. Or the... Oh my god, there's so much said. Oh. Wait, can I not do that? Oh, I can't do that on Discord. I can't make my phone go upside down. Oh my god. I like how the show added another person that I do want to believe that's canon. There's a character who figures out who Char is. Like, not only that Char is using a false identity, but like that Char is Casvel Decum. Not really sure how he figured that out. Like, it's like the guy says how he figured it out, but I'm like, this random dude figured out like Char was Casvel, kind of makes me wonder how other people didn't figure it out sooner. But what I like about that isn't the fact that the guy just kind of figures it out. It's the fact that it's another person that Char just mercilessly kills. And this guy's like, Char, I'm your guy. Like, this guy would have died for Char. And Char tests that by just straight up killing him. Hello, Opus. Welcome, welcome. He learned history. The thing is, Camille is canonically autistic. So Camille's probably like either not listening the entire time. Again, the Camille is a headcanon that he's telling it all to Camille. But also imagine because Camille is autistic, Camille's either not listening or Camille just knows everything already is a lie and isn't listening. It's just like, Char, like, Quattro. You need to understand, Camille. This all really happened, Okay, so you need to be a little more liberal with the brown. But it does come through. It's a lesser accent, but it comes through nonetheless. We'll be cleaning it up, of course, later. I think Celia knew the entire time from, like, Gundam the Origin perspective. But I don't really mind the idea if, like, that part is canon. Again, like, Origin, it's kind of, like, hard to know what is canon and what isn't. The broad strokes are canon, but, like, the specifics aren't. Again, is, like, the safe way to do it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cecilia knew the entire time, if that was canon, because I don't think that's really a conflict at all. Ooh. And also, I think she was like the intelligence agency, so I wouldn't really mind that being canon. Yeah, and she kept it quiet as not only because of new type powers, but also just to have that in her like hand, you know, like just make it so that she can have Char as an asset. Because she knows Char wants to kill her family, which makes him dangerous. But that also means that he could be an incredibly good asset to, like, again, kill Giran Zabi. Now, mind you, she does that herself when Giran goes, yeah, I killed our dad. I did good work. And she's just like, well, obviously, I can't trust you. You just killed our dad. Shoots him in the head. It's fucking... Giran is a great speechwriter. Kind of a terrible diplomat, though. Ooh. I still love in Zeta Gundam when he says to Haman, I've never betrayed anyone. That's like one of the greatest memes ever. Because even in like the context of Zeta Gundam, he'd already betrayed so many people. Oh my god. I would not mind Dozel's like I would not mind like Dozel, not how he met his wife, but how he proposed. I would not mind that being canon. Of him just being like, oh my god, I found the woman I love. Will you bear my children? And it's just like, slow down, Tiger. This dude, this man, for the first time in his life, finds, you know, attraction towards a woman and immediately goes in for the kill shot, chat. And he gets her. He's like, will you bear my children? And she's like, yes. To be fair, though, Dozel is also like, they say he's only 6'10". This man is like 7'6", built like an absolute crap brick house. Like this dude is, if he was alive in real life, he could just walk through like he'd play football and nobody could take him out. You could have the entire offensive team tackle him and he'd just still walk like he's the bulldozer. Yeah, fucking Degwin himself. I do love it in Origin. He also brings up Napoleon and Adolf in Origin, and I'm like, he did the thing. Degwin did the thing because Giran is like starting to talk big. He's like, yeah, we can't lose this, and and Degwin just goes like, you know who else said they couldn't lose? Napoleon and Adolf. And it's just like, yeah, they know their target audience. Which is also why there's a lot of yaoi bait in the show. Oh my god. The moment that Garma comes on screen, they're just like, okay, we just need to start having it, we need to like screw undertones. We need overtones of gay baiting here, okay? We know our audience is made up by Fujoshis who do not give a damn about the mech battles, but they're here for the 15 minutes of yaoi bait, and we're gonna deliver. And they deliver, chat. Yeah, fucking, also, yeah, the reason he's attracted to this woman is because she had the balls to point a gun at him. And he's like, wow, that's so hot. Like, you stood up to me? Damn, I need to make you my wife. But then also, he's like really vulnerable around her, and not like in a, like, it's somewhat like kind of almost played comedic relief for like how he is, but it's more the fact that like, it's not like absurdist, it's more the fact that after he does the colony drop, because he's the one in charge of dropping the colony, and he's like, this'll end the war. And when it doesn't end the war and all the death he did was pointless, he goes to his wife, lays down in her lap, and just goes, I'm a mass murderer. How do I live with myself? And you're just like, Wow, I did not expect Dozle Zabi to be like one of the strongest characters of Gundam the Origin, but in all honesty, I would be completely fine with everything in Dozle Zabi's case being canon. Cause like he was just a strong kid. Cause he was the dark horse of the show, where you're just like he's just pulling it. He's just doing a great job. Ooh. Yeah, I do know his custom Zaku. It's really a beautiful Zaku, though I probably wouldn't get the high grade because all those designs are obviously are obviously stickers, but. He has like this nice parade Zaku looking thing. Hello, Kays. Welcome, welcome. We've looked at the Gunzilla before, but I'll look at it again. And thank you for refreshing. I have to now scroll all the way back up. Actually, the Gunzilla... Where would I... Actually, that might not be a bad idea to order, now that I'm thinking about it, for the... Because I haven't talked about it in a while. Ooh. I don't like talking about it, because I like doing it more than talking about it, you know. But for reasons, if you can share where I can get that, because there's a good chance I might actually get that if possible. Because that might be a really good gunpla to build in the not too distant future, by which I mean next year, but still. That might be a good gunpla to pick up, in all honesty, though. The brown is good, it just doesn't pop as much as the black. I have to get used to that. Yeah, I mean, he was, like, even in the original series, like, he came across as the big, dumb, big guy, but then when push comes to shove, dark gray, black, when push comes to shove, he literally goes like, my daughter and wife, like, I'm gonna get in the big Zam to hold off the enemy. I'm going to die. But, like, I'm doing it so you guys can get away, so you guys can, you know, flee into deep space. Like he's kind of like Garma, where, like, they aren't good people necessarily, because they're still, like, you know, invading Earth and doing bad things, but they're not just mustache-twirlingly evil. They're not like Girin, you know, who's just straight up evil, or Cassilia, who, not as evil as Girin, you can tell she's still a bad person. Ooh. Like, in all honesty, Cassilia is probably more dangerous than Girin for the simple, thank you for the link, for the simple fact that, well, Girin has no subterfuge. Girin is just like Girin's like that new Kanye song where, like, all the people on Twitter don't understand what I say, and then all of them say, you know, the HH word. You know, it's just like, that's Girin Zabi. Girin Zabi would, like, look at Adolf and be like, that's a really cool thing he's doing with his arms. We should do that. No subtlety. This guy has no understanding of subtlety at all. Cassilia, the intelligence officer, the Gestapo officer, effectively, is like, okay, I can work angles and whatnot. Oh, I can see that with the silhouette reminding of Barbatos. They've kind of both got that, like, narrow waist, kind of big legs and whatnot. Kind of more monstrous frame. The Barbatos because it's demonic, this guy because it's kaiju. Ooh. And she is the future of the Zabi family. I don't really know what the hell she does after Double Zeta Gundam. I can't remember if she, like, appears in narrative or something. Maybe she appears in Unicorn. I don't really know how she lives her life. I don't know. For all I know, she could pull a Sayla, where we just don't see her again. And it's just like, yeah, she was a character. She's still doing stuff, but like we can't get her voice actor. This is for Sayla, but we can't get her voice actor. So for all intents and purposes, like she's super important, guys. Trust us. She's just doing stuff off screen. She's still doing stuff. So, you know, if we can get the voice actress back, we will. But trust us, she's important. Huh? What? Okay, I don't know why this is filling up so well. I'm sure, like, as it dries, it's not... I'm gonna need to apply another coat. But the panel liner is loving going into these grooves. I thought I'd have to use a brush to paint it in, but... literally, probably just if it fades a little, a second coat is all I'm gonna probably need. And again, I know... oh my god! I know it's dirty, but that's why we have lighter fluid. I lost the lighter fluid for a moment. I should probably close the lighter fluid. That might be why I have a headache now that I think about it. I might have just been inhaling small amounts of lighter fluid throughout the day. Oh god. She appears in Unicorn. I knew it was one or the other. And then she cameos in narrative. So she follows in the way of... I almost said Ant, but Sayla's not blood related to her at all. But she follows in the footsteps of Sayla. Well, she's pretty important in like one series, and then the next series it's like, okay, you just... well, you'll be on screen for like 5 minutes. Really? No, it's gonna be 2 minutes. Let's see here. I hope she stays tiny. I hope she never grows. I hope she doesn't like... she just takes none of the genes from her father. I hope that's the case. This is gray, so I should be using black. Okay, that's one thing I don't like about this panel liner brush is sometimes it's just like, okay, so like you want to add a whole dollop, and it's like, I do not want to do that, and it's like, got ya, 2 dollops. That's not in Minerva. Okay, so I don't even know. You see, I haven't gotten to Unicorn. I should probably binge watch it, but I have to start watching Alien Earth, and you're like, why would you do that to yourself, Merrick? Because we're gonna watch Alien at the end of the month. Almost said end of the year. At the end of the month, because I'm gonna be doing Alien Isolation. But I figured, you know what? Maybe I can make myself really, maybe I can like, oop. What's that? Oh, a raid. Well, thank you for the raid. Oh, Edda. Thank you. We're just doing some prep on the Pink Panther Zaku, and me saying that for next month, we're gonna start Alien Isolation. Hold up. Alien Isolation, and watch Alien at the end of the month. Which I don't know if I formally invited you to. You are invited. You're always invited to the watch-alongs, but I don't think I formally invited you yet. But welcome. Thank you for the cavalry raid. Thank you for the winged hussars. Did it? But also, over the weekend, I binge-watched Gundam The Origin, and we have also been talking about that. Let's see here. Ooh, and actually, let me get that. Thing is, Discord keeps reloading, so I'm using notes from Discord while I was watching it. My live reaction. Okay. And actually, I don't know why it wasn't until Gundam the Origin I noticed, but I completely just forgot that Giran Zabi has no eyebrows. And so he has like Giovanni from Pokemon Physiognomy, where it's just like, you know he's evil because he got no eyebrows. He's like Apophis from Stargate. You want to make a guy, you want to convey a dude is just evil and ruthless? Take away his eyebrows, quickest way. Ooh. Let's see here. Oh yeah, also in Gundam the Origin, there's a scene where it's just shown that Cassilia sleeps in the nude. I completely forgot about that, but yeah, there's just a scene where things are going down and like she goes to the window and opens it, and there's this and the camera just pans up and it's just like, oh, how did you get away with that? Don't worry, the light is artistically hiding everything. It's hiding nothing, bro. I think that's probably one of the most blatant fan services I've ever seen in Gundam too. I was kind of in disbelief when I first saw that scene. I was like, did that just happen? Like, I actually was like, surely she was wearing something. It's like, no, she was wearing nothing. Oh my goodness. But, what? Oh, this here and this here. Oh god. Well, that's why we have... Oh, the music stopped. Let me switch over tracks real quick for you guys. Let's go to Halo. Halo's reliable. Halo's always a reliable choice. Yeah, if it did nothing, K's. Not K's, I'm so sorry. Gundam. I don't know why I said that. I'm so sorry. I hope you can forgive me. As I said, I have a bit of a headache, probably because I just realized I never closed. Oh. Because I realized earlier this stream, I never closed my lighter fluid container that I used to clean up all these messy panel lines. Ooh. But really, it's probably actually dietary is why I have a headache. So don't worry, I probably don't got brain damage from that. Maybe from some other stuff, though. Also, for the Raiders who just got here, I forgot to mention the reason we're doing a PNG is because I forgot to turn on VTube Studio, and if I turn on VTube Studio while this is on, it can crash the camera. So I just don't want to risk it. I was thinking though while watching it, because we see a young Cassilia, but my god, does she get bony when she gets older. Ooh. Actually, it kind of made me like realize how, because Cassilia in the original series is always wearing that mask, it's actually really up to interpretation what she looks like under the mask. And I realize this because not only does Gundam the Origin like really like play into more of her having sharper features, but then you have in GQ there's actually two different designs for her, because there's the classic, like there's the art style that's trying to be more classic, then there's the art style that you get more throughout the show that's done by the Pokemon artist. And you can like really see like how much between those three designs, Origin and the two GQ designs, you can like kind of just interpret what she looks like while still kind of giving the same feel and air to her. I think it's pretty neat. Welcome, Zaza. Ooh. I don't know if she's my type, but I'm not gonna argue with you on that of like her being still looking fine. But Jesus Christ, though, she like does an espionage segment though, And for like the first while of her being in espionage, I'm just like, what are we doing here? Why is she just like going around like just dressed up as a blonde and showing off her really long legs? And then it just turns out, oh yeah, she's just like getting information, you know, just covertly. Ooh. Like the trade-off spot for the information is at a nightclub, so she dresses up like she's going to a nightclub in disguise. Really? It's just so they could be like, look at... But really, it's because they want to like, hey guys, look at Cassilia's legs. And it's like, yeah, she has legs. And they go all the way up. Kevin Bacon from Tremors would love her. Wait, no. Wait, did she... I don't know if she had the correct colored eyes. You want a pink? Maybe you just like the color pink, man. My grandfather's favorite color was pink. Maybe he was just a big fan of pink. If you're gonna paint something pink, probably one of the better places is the desert. But it's not gonna stand out as much as, say, if you did that in a forest or something. Like, we just went straight into the Warthog run, didn't we? Music-wise. The glory of turning on shuffle. Actually, earlier I said when the sister sprue to this dried... Yeah, we're just gonna have to apply one more coat. Then we can clean it up. And actually, I don't know if I've said this on stream before, but I've been using Brawny recently for my paper towels, and it's really, really good for cleanup. And let me see if I can get it out. Sorry, I turned away from the mic for a second. There they are. I've really been enjoying using them, because they're actually just better quality for like general purposes. So like I save a lot on, I actually save money by getting them, even though they're more expensive, because I use less of them, damn it. But one thing I like is you can tear them into these little squares, which is really good for model building. But you can still have the bigger pieces like this. But as I said, you can just tear it into half. And it's just been a lot more useful than the like store brand that I've been using before. And also just in general cleaning too. Way more absorbent. Like what would have taken like what would have taken like, say, 2 full parts of the paper towels, I could probably just do with like this little like square. I could do with 1/4 of that. This stream not brought to you by Brawny. What? Ooh, to be honest, pink in a desert environment are weird, at least to me. Half blind Federation soldiers can spot the big 80-meter. I mean, I think they're going to be spotting like the big 80-meter if it was green. I know desert types are brown, but like... Ooh. They're probably going to also be spotting the like... They're usually dark brown, so they're probably also spotting those from a distance on the like white desert. You know? Oh hey, there's this like humanoid shape standing over the horizon. I wonder what that could be. Ah, it's probably a natural rock formation. Let's get this, but okay. That might need another coating as well. No, 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 no. This is called brawny. Like, brawn as in, like, you know, muscle, like brawn. And then EY. Has a big lumberjack on it. Has a big lumberjack on the packaging. If it helps to identify them. Ooh. But before, I was just using store brand. I was just using store brand paper towels. They weren't very good. Like, they got the job done, but, like, they were so non-absorbent that I ended up spending more money in the end. Still 29, it's still September 29th where I am. Ooh. On March, I'm so damn stupid. On October, on October 1st, we're gonna kick off Spooky Month by building the Zaku, sorry, the Psycho Gundam, not Zaku, what am I talking about? The Psycho Gundam Mark II, and I completely forgot that next month is October until, what is it, Friday last week, I think. And I was like, oh crap, I'm already building this. So I had to quickly figure out what we're going to be doing. So what we're doing for building wise is on Mondays, we're going to be building the we're going to be building the Zaku Desert type Pink Panther on Mondays until it's finished, while on Wednesdays we're going to be building the Psycho Gundam Mark II. And then when we're done with the Psycho Gundam Mark II, we can compare it to the Psycho Gundam Mark I, which I do have, which is over there, so I don't want to grab it. You heard brownies? Well, Brawny and Brownie is pretty close, to be fair. In your defense, it's pretty close. Let's go here. There's a little bit of panel lining we can do here. It's gonna be a slow, talky stream today. Did it reset? Oh my god, it just... I thought this would be such a good idea. Oh, I'll just, like, type my reaction to Gundam the Origin in Discord chat, but it keeps refreshing. Every time I, like, have to, like, look at it, it just refreshes back to the bottom. Ooh. Well, this isn't really a new observation, but it's something that I like in general about Gundam. And that is Char's, like, using his father's philosophy to his own ends. Where instead of being a successor to his father, he's more or less just kind of uses it to justify his own self-destructive behavior, in a sense. He uses it to pretty much just, like, justify what he's doing. He kind of uses it as, like, his own platonic cave, if you're familiar with that metaphor. He kind of, like, in his depression, in his sadness, he runs into his own little platonic cave, and then he uses the philosophy of his father as the light to cast the silhouettes on the wall. Ooh. If you don't know Plato, well, that probably doesn't make any sense to you. So let me see if I can explain it a little bit for you. I feel like the simplest way to explain it is just the fact that he uses an incomplete version of his father's philosophy to justify his bad behavior. Is that he purposely doesn't know the whole thing so he can further his own ends, no matter how toxic those may be. Ooh. Ooh. What happened is that your Independence Day? Ooh. I'm spitballing, but I think the only date that I can remember is... Ooh, I think you mentioning Independence Day, but is it your Declaration of Independence Day? Ooh. That's just redundant. Or is it a bad day? Is it? I hope it's not your September 11th or something. I hope it's not your December 7th Pearl Harbor Day. Ooh. Oh, there's a really weird scene in in Gundam the Origin. And it doesn't start out weird. It's like a bunch of people are sent in to kill Char and Ramba Rao's father, who are in hiding, and also Sayla by extension, because Raul's dad gives away their position because he tries to plan a coup against the Zombies with Anaheim Electronics, and that information gets out, so the Zombies send out assassins. And like, at first it's normal, it's a bunch of people in the like Northern Africa or Middle East, I can't really remember where exactly this is taking place, but it's, you know, it's just like local mercenaries coming in, shooting up the place. But then there's just, at some point, one of the mercenaries just goes, you know what? While walking through the halls, we don't see this, but he must have done this. While walking through the halls, he must have seen the suits of armor in the mansion and gone like, wow, that looks really good. I'm gonna put that on and grab a sword, and that's how I'm gonna kill these people. Because inexplicably, there's just a dude who's just in a full set of armor walking around with a sword. And I guess thank God he did that, because he would have killed Char real easily when he tried to, you know, end him by, you know, just having a gun, bang bang. But he's like, oh, I got a sword, and then Char just runs away and is like, oh no, he's too far away for me to hit him. This is so... Again, I said earlier, I like Gundam the Origin, but there's reasons I'm happy it's not canon. Oh no, it's just September 11th then. Ooh. You can share if you want, but ooh, you don't have to or anything. But yeah, I was hoping it was a good day, not a bad day. I'm sorry to hear it being a bad day, provided you're not joking when you say like it's a dark day. You're not being hyperbolic. Ooh. Also, a thing that I do like about Gundam the Origin that I wouldn't mind being canon is the fact that the mobile suits were originally called mobile workers, which I found to be a nice touch, because it kind of like, it explains without having to use any other dialogue. Like, they simply drop the names like these are mobile workers and immediately go, okay, that's how they covered up mobile suit development. You don't need to ask anything more. You immediately understand that's how they covered up mobile suit development, that they hid it under, you know, just being work suits, you know, just being things that had no military application. They pretty much said, like, we're working on tractors, and then it turned out that they were actually working on, what is it, the killdozer. You know, they're just like, oh, it's just a bulldozer, don't worry about it. Well, meanwhile, in the back, they're lowering, you know, this reinforced steel casket onto it, and they're just like, don't worry, it's completely safe. You know, we're not doing, you know, it's just construction equipment. Zeon literally pulled a killdozer, and I would not mind that being canon. I would not mind that being canon in the slightest. There we go. This is on camera, right? I did find some of the deaths predictable, like when the real Char Aznable is introduced. Like, I figured, like, Char Aznable was just gonna be, like, you know, maybe, like, you know, a child who died really young. Like, it's gonna be, like, in Highlander, where it's like, oh, hey, you know, the mother died in childbirth, was single, and, you know, there was, you know, and then the child died shortly after, and just, you know, Casval took that name or something. No. He just he moves in. He doesn't even find. he moves in with a guy named Char Aznable who looks identical to him, except they have different eyes. And I kind of sat there looking at it just like... He just, like, what if that didn't happen? How would, like, Char change his identity then? Like, he just conveniently, again, he moved in with just Char, like, Dake Casval moved in with Char, and it's just like, you just did not, like, want to put any effort into thinking of how he became Char Aznable at all. It was kind of funny and a little frustrating. Oh, hello, Ricey. But on that note, also, like, all the deaths, I should say all the deaths, but the original Char Aznable and the guy who figures out who Char Aznable is, like, both their deaths, I literally joked before they die, so like, okay, so when do they die? Like, okay, this guy's obviously, like, his name's Char Aznable, so he's gonna have to die. When does he die? Well, Char literally switches places with him, and the guy explodes because they think that they're gonna kill, you know, sorry, they're going to end, you know, Casval Dekum. So the assassin ends up just blowing up. He ends up blowing up the real Char Aznable. And the reason it's funny is because in the scene they go like, make it look like an accident. And then what they do to make it look like an accident is they just blow up an entire shuttle from the center of mass where there would be nothing there to explode. It's like going, okay, make it look like an accident, and then it's just a car bomb, and it's just like, what? This isn't Ireland. This isn't like Iraq. Cars don't just explode. Even then, cars don't just magically explode. That's not a natural death in any place in the world. It's crazy how developed the military is in Gundam. Zaku machine Gundam is a 120 millimeter. Yeah, they fire tank rounds. Ooh. I do like when the Federation sees that, they're like, oh yeah, like here's a giant robot that fires tank rounds. They're like, well, that can't pierce a ship's hull. And they're like, none of them think, wait, maybe it could carry something that could like pierce a ship's hull. They're just like, no, that can't, like, our ships have armor that like is too thick for, you know, like just a 120 millimeter gun to break through. Okay, but what about your tanks? Huh? What about your tanks? Ah, they're not gonna get on Earth. Don't worry about it. Zaku's got on Earth. But the scale is pretty nice, and also it helps explain like why mobile suits are just such an overwhelming weapon, because even their physical projectile rounds, again, are an automatic Abram tank effectively. And even though Abrams aren't... Wait. No, Abrams. Sorry. I got Abrams confused with a Sherman for a second there. Even if it was like the size of a Sherman round, it would still be intimidating. But an Abrams tank, yeah, it's just unrelenting. Just imagine, what is it? It wouldn't be firing this fast, but it, like, kind of think of like a Warthog, you know, an A-10 Warthog, but firing the rounds of a Sherman tank. Again, it's not firing that fast, but I want to give you an idea of just like how insane something like a Zaku is. On September 30th, 1965, our first president, that had been sitting for 2 decades, now has fallen out. Oh my god. That is a dark day. That your president died, and then the communists were like, okay, time to try to do a coup. Ugh. I'm not a fan of Marxism at the slightest. For some reason, a lot of people have a phase where they're like, oh yeah, I thought like Marxism was good. Never in my life have I ever been like, you know what, Marxism might not be all that bad. Because from a young age, I was familiar with all of the all the butchering they did, all the killing they were responsible for. And I was like, well, every system kills people, you know, at some point. But no system like Marxism purposely kills as many people as just like raw numbers. It's absolutely insane. When you make them like silly little mustache man, when you make him look like an amateur, you know, like what's that? You killed 6 million people? Actually 11 million people. We just don't talk about the other 5 million for some reason, and I get really confused by that. What's that? You killed 11 million people? Well, and then like Stalin just looks at him and is just like, yeah, we just stopped counting after 20 million. Then Mao goes like, you counted up into 20 million? Like, we know, like, we killed like over 50 million, but we just didn't care. And it's just like, what the like, what are these numbers? And they just got away with it. It was like really the like extra horrifying thing. I don't remember the context of it, but I don't think it really matters what the context was, because Char, well, Cassville, not to be confused, but from now on when I say Char, I'm talking about Cassville, not the real Char. But Char Aznavour at one point says, and I quote, "I'm my own person." And that line coming from Char Aznavour is one of the most beautifully ironic lines ever. Like, this dude who literally doesn't even, when he finally takes up the mantle of his father, even when Char takes up the mantle of his father, he still doesn't use his real name because he's not his own true person. He's just this, you know, sad child who's, you know, traumatized from a hard life and just wants to take out his aggression on everything in existence. If only Lala had survived, that woman could have been a mother to him. I still love in Char's counterattack when he says that. When he says, like, only if I had Lala, she could have been a mother to me. And then Amuro. These are the last words Amuro ever hears. And Amuro just goes like, what? Lala? A mother? And he's just like, and then he dies. And it's just like, I feel so sorry for fucking Amuro in that moment. Just Char's just like, hold up, bro. I need a trauma dump on you real hard, real quick. And Amuro's just like, dude, I'm in the middle of trying to save all of humanity, but have you considered Lala? Again, I'm trying to save humanity. Earlier in chat, somebody was like that they think Pink would stand out, but I think in a desert setting, Pink would, I don't know how much it would stand out, but I don't think it would like, because it's kind of like a softer tone. I don't think it would say stand out as much as say red or blue. Ooh. Like, I'm thinking of it like at a far distance. I'm not quite sure if the pink was more just because it's a custom suit, or if it was like meant to be like, you know, extra camo. Okay, during the sunset and sunrise, I can definitely see it being really effective, especially in the desert. At dawn and dusk, it would definitely be real effective, because the pink would reflect off of the sand just right. First time I'm doing brown, and I like it. I just don't like how I have to very much use multiple coats. Oh, actually, wait. What I want to prep are... Let's not let that fall on the floor. Well, these parts are still wet. I can't even clean those. I can't even apply another coat on, let alone clean them. That's a bit annoying. Oh, that was almost the wrong panel liner. But I'd like to thank chat for the advice, because the whole reason I'm using brown panel liner for this, I'm experimenting, is because you guys recommended brown panel liner for softer tones. Well, for warmer colors, rather. Not softer tones, but warmer colors. And pink is just a soft red, and, well, red is really one of the warmest colors you can get, if not the warmest. I'd like to thank you guys for that suggestion. Okay, so Desert Pink is a real camo. It's actually really cool to learn. So it'd be probably especially good for raids. Especially good for raids, because that's really when you're going to be doing dawn or dusk operations. When people are just waking up, or when they're changing shifts into the night. What? I'll let myself be a little liberal here with this application. Oh, I didn't even notice that panel line right here. Little dots. I forgot about that overflow. That's gonna have to be cleaned up with extreme prejudice. I do also like how they showed Garma going from a softer character to more of a harder character through his experiences. Like, he's a bit of a pansy at the start, not to lie. Which kind of makes sense because how spoiled he is by his father. But he sees how everyone else is fighting, you know, and he kind of just, like, feels guilty that he's not doing more. So he kind of overdoes it. He kind of, like, you know, to impress everyone else, to do, not even to impress everyone else, to do his part, he kind of is just like, just goes gun-ho into being like, yeah, like, I'll just also commit war crimes, even though he's, and he kind of becomes more like the Garma that we see in the actual show by the end of it. Again, not to say that Garma's like a really bad person in the show, but you can tell Garma has the potential to be a little ruthless in his actions. Like, he's nowhere near as bad as his siblings, Girin and Cassilia. But you can definitely feel how he was raised in the same household. You also get a lot of time with Degwin. Excuse me. And I really like Degwin Zabi because even though he's a bad dude, you know, starting the 1 Year War and whatnot, we can really see like the worst aspects of the 1 Year War are pretty much entirely on Girin. Though, I mean, as the like monarch of Zeon, Degwin still shoulders the blame for like everything. But we can see how, you know, Girin was really like the person who pushed things to becoming as bad as they were. Like, the colony drop was Girin's idea. Ooh. Girin kind of sabotaged, like, actually no, it's Cassilia who sabotaged the peace talks. I'm sure Girin would not have had a problem with it. Like, Girin literally is just like, well, like, yes, we committed war crimes. But the fact that we committed war crimes means that if we lose, we're gonna be, like, put on trial as war criminals. So now we have to do everything in our power never to lose. And it's like, okay. And then, like, the moment they get a win and they can, like, you know, barter for peace with Zeon, Girin goes, okay, we could barter for peace, or we can invade Earth. And it's just like, Giran. Like, Giran is like literally the worst aspects of Zeon personified, and I did not have a problem with that. Where he just can't stop himself. He just has to keep going and going and going. The moment he achieves his goal, he's like, okay, well that's proof of concept that like I can do more. He's not like, oh hey, I should like, you know, go home with like my winnings. What I'm trying to say, if Giran was at a casino, he'd lose all his money. Giran would absolutely lose the entire like royal fortune one night in a casino. He'd lose it within the first hour. Giran has no self-control. His prefrontal cortex never finished forming or something. I don't know what it is. This dude cannot help himself. The thing is, I would say that's like a Gundam the Origin factoid, but even in the original series, like, this guy can't help himself. Like, after he kills his father, he just goes like, yeah, I killed my father, to his sister. And his sister's like, okay, you have to die because obviously I can't trust you. Like, he's a betting man who has no concept that like, oh hey, other people might bet against me. It's like he has no understanding of that. Like, this guy has no concept of other people's agency, which kind of explains like a lot about him. Hello, Cassius. Welcome, welcome. Degwin, Dozel, and Garma did nothing wrong. I mean, I think dropping a colony was pretty wrong, but of the zombies, they are definitely the least like bad. But I definitely, again, I came out really with an appreciation of Dozel after Gundam the Origin. Dozel would be like the one thing that I'd be completely fine if all of that was canon. Everything else I'd be like, let's hold our horses, you know, with making that like this or that canon, but Dozel's character is really the standout for me. Like, I loved every minute while he was on screen. I felt sorry for him after, like, he dropped the colony, because you can, like, tell he was played by his family, and he, like, immediately afterwards, when, like, the colony drop doesn't end the war, and it just kills, like, just millions of people, he immediately is like, I did a bad thing. I'm a bad person. And you're like, oh, fuck. Like, Giran is like, we killed a bunch of people, that means Earth Federation is weaker. We can go, like, we can invade them now because they're gonna have less manpower. And it's like, Jesus Christ, Giran, just like calm down. Cassilia is like, isn't phased. Cassilia's just cold as hell. Char was never his own person. He had to be Char Aznable to be ace for Zeon and the assassination of the Zod. Yeah. He changes his identity throughout, like, even Gundam the Origin. He's always somebody different. He's never his own man. Which is why it's so, like... It's funny, but in context, I think it's meant to be tragic. The fact that he says, like, I'm my own man is literally a line in Gundam the Origin. But Char, again, isn't his own man. Even when he takes up the mantle of his father, Char Aznable is still Char Aznable. He does not become Casfal Dekum. He never takes that name back up. Possibly because he doesn't think himself worthy of it, or... Like, he's again, it shows that he's not really taking up his father's ideology in an honest way. He's simply using it to his own ends, just like the zombies did. Ooh. And that's really the tragedy of Char Aznable, is he becomes everything he fought against throughout his entire life. Is that he's a self-destructive depression and just bad decision making. Really, and that's why he's such a loved character though as well, because like even though you know Char is doing wrong things, you're like, I understand him so damn much. Like he's literally the architect of his own doom. And you can interpret it as him psychologically knowing that he's not doing the right thing, by the fact that he gives Amuro the Psychomu system for the new Gundam. And you can very much see that as him kind of doing almost like a cry for help subconsciously, of him going, I might not be doing the right thing. I should let, like, you know, somebody stop me if I'm not doing the right thing. And he's like, oh, I did it for, you know, so we could have an honest battle. And I'm like, I think you did it, Char, because, like, you weren't confident if you were doing the right thing and you wanted somebody to stop you. Because that's very in line with, like, depressive psychology. And considering you're literally based off of Tomino's own depression, I feel like, again, it's just like you wanted an out. That is very big in depressive psychology, that, like, you will do very, very bad behavior to yourself and other people. But while you're doing it, you might actually just, like, do little things as cries for help or, like, kind of exits as ways for other people to stop you from doing what you're doing. But again, that's why he's such a damn good character. Is like, first time you watch Char's counterattack, you might be a little confused by, like, why is he doing this? But then as you kind of, like, understand the character more and more, and you look back on all of his, like, all the things that happened in his life, you're like, I get it. Degwin, yeah, Degwin, I think, probably didn't want to, like, you know, screw over Earth. Like Girin did not care about Earth. Girin was like, we're gonna strip mine Earth, you know? Again, Girin is, like, the worst aspects. He is just everything bad in the situation. But Degwin was, like, actually a complex leader. I kind of like how, also, it's made a little unclear if, like, it's never directly confirmed in Gundam the Origin if Degwin killed Zeon, whatever. Zeon Dakum, whatever. I combined his name like a fool. But it's never actually directly confirmed. Just like it's not really confirmed, like, who killed his second son? Who killed Sasoro. It's never confirmed who did that. Like, it's implied, like they keep saying, like, oh, Degwin did it, but then, like, but, like, Degwin is surprised when it happens. Girin is surprised when it happens. Garma is surprised when it happens. Everyone is surprised when it happens except for Cassilia, and Cassilia is just looking at it, and she's like, yeah. And it's like, okay, so she had to have done that. But then the show's like, maybe Degwin did it. And it's like, Degwin, like, is literally in the car in front of it, and he's like, holy crap. But they try to gaslight. It's like, no, I am convinced it was Cassilia who did it. And it's like, why did Cassilia do it? Because they're just self-destructive. The zombies are just self-destructive, and Cassilia wanted him out of the way. Amuro would have been a father if not for Char. I still find it funny how, what's the gun tanks pilot? Is it Hatino? I can't quite remember his name. But I do like how, like, again, throughout this series of Gundam, his friend, I forget her name as well for some reason, but is like, she's very obviously interested in Amuro, but Amuro just can't pay attention to that. And then in Zeta Gundam, it's like, oh yeah, that character who was totally, like, into Amuro just married the short king who was piloting the gun tank instead. And when I heard that, I was like, honestly, fucking deserved. Okay? The short king was, like, actually polling. The short king was actually doing a work. He was caring about other people. Amuro, throughout all of Gundam, was a pretty bad person. And it was somewhat understandable for his trauma, but it doesn't excuse his behavior. No, not Ryu. Ryu's a king, okay? No, the short king who piloted the upper part of the gun tank. I love Ryu. Ryu Jose is a king. He is absolutely amazing. He has a little cameo in Gundam the Origin, doesn't really do much. But even there, I'm like, oh my god, it's Ryu. Like, throughout all of Gundam the Origin, when they jangled keys, I was like, yeah, okay, keys. When they got out the Ryu keys and jangled them, I was like, oh my god, Ryu! And it's just like, he's not important to the story at all. And I'm like, but it's Ryu, it's my boy! Hayato, that's what it is. Thank you, yeah, Hayato. Hayato gets the love interest in the end. Because again, he gives a damn. Amuro is just, you know, in his own little world throughout. And it causes him to, you know, isolate, which is the tragedy of his character. He becomes defined by constantly, you know, fighting these wars himself, just like Char is. They're two sides of the same coin. Both of them aren't dealing with their trauma in a healthy way. It's just that Amuro doesn't try to destroy the planet. But if you think about it, like, really Amuro or Char could have just gone, you know what? Could have just gone full, like, Machiavellian. If you really think, like, I feel like either of them could have gone it, but, like, Tomino was like, no, it's gonna be Char, because he's the real main character at the end of the day. Degwin actually agreed. But as I was saying, I'm kind of happy that they didn't actually confirm, like, they didn't show Degwin poisoning Dakum. And I kind of like the fact that they didn't do that, because we see how Dakum is so overstressed that, like, we can kind of believe he might have just had a heart attack, and everything that Char is doing is because a crazy old man was like, they killed your father, and it's like, they might not have in all honesty. They might not have, and like that's the first time I ever thought that, because I was like, no, the zombies definitely killed Zeon, and like they probably still killed Zeon, but like I'm actually thinking like Zeon was so high strung he might have just died of a heart attack. Probably not, but I could believe it, and I kind of like that I do like that ambiguity in the origin. Frau Bo, thank you. Oh, that's why it's called Bellatronka's Children. Sorry, the manga adaptation for Char's Counterattack is called Char's Counterattack Bellatronka's Children, and I was always just like, who the hell is Bellatronka? But I never looked into it. I was like, then I'd have to like read the manga, and I'll do that some other time. But I've always been like, I thought it was just a random name. I never knew that. Oh my god, okay. I don't know if she's canon though. She's at least canon in the manga, but, you know, the Nightingale is also in the manga. The Hainu is also in the manga. The Hainu and Nightingale are effectively if Amuro and Char spent time making their mobile suits instead of, you know, rushing their production. And I think we can start cleanup now, so let me get out the lighter fluid and not breathe it in. God, I absolutely adore the death of Ryu Jose. Because Ryu's the only soldier on the white base. He's the only, like, active, like, normal soldier. You might be like, what about Bright Noah? Bright Noah's an officer. Officers aren't the same. Like, Ryu is the one person who's there who's like, yeah, if my job is to fight, and if need be, die. And he does fight, and when the need comes, he dies. And everyone at that moment realizes, oh shit, like realizes how real what their situation is. And everyone just breaks down, because how he dies is by saving everyone's life. Because Amuro's about to get shot in the back, which will cause him to not be able to hold back. I forget if he's holding back the white base or something that's going to crash into the white base. I can't quite remember, but he's holding back one or the other. And if like this thing crashes into the white base, everyone dies. And he's about to get shot in the back, and Ryu just crashes the core fighter into this like tank that's gonna shoot him in the back. And it's just like a moment that's like built up to, but you just don't see it. You still don't like see it coming. Like you don't think like, oh, he's gonna crash into it, but it's like, no, it's the only way to be sure to stop it. And then you're just like, he's not coming back from that. This isn't anime rules where like we don't see a body, he can come back. He exploded. He's not coming back. And everyone realizes not only is he dead, but the only reason they're alive is because of him. And everyone's like, he was our best guy. he's now dead. And by best guy, I don't mean like he was like the most important guy. I mean, he was like the only true soldier amongst them, and he's gone. And that, like, the gravity immediately sets in for everyone, and everyone breaks down. And it's an earned moment of emotional pathos in the show. It's so good. How did I not piece it together? Because I didn't know there was a character named Bellatronka. That's how I never pieced it together. Ooh. Oh, okay, so Bellatronka is okay. So at least he's a canon character. Ooh. Yeah, also Bright was, I think, still technically a trainee. Like, he was an officer, but he was kind of like an intern officer. He's like the effective equivalent of like an officer intern. You know, he wasn't like an active officer. He was himself also still a new recruit. Ooh. Ryu was the only guy there, and Ryu was still like only like 19 himself or something. He might have been 18, but again, Ryu was the only guy there who was there to die if need be. Ooh. Like Kai, not a soldier. Hayato, not a soldier. Amuro, not a soldier. It's probably one of the best deaths in all of Gundam, Ryu Jose, and that's why he's one of my favorite characters, is this. Because even though his death serves other characters, it serves it right. It's not just there like the one guy who dies in Gundam Seed, who I forget the name of, who dies because somebody's like, oh hey, this guy just entered the battlefield, let me throw my shield at him, and he just immediately dies. It's just like, well, what did you contribute? Like, why were you there? You were in the battle to die and give other characters, like, you know, motivation. That's why the death happened. Ryu dies to literally save everyone's life. You know, like, there's actually like there's a plot significance to his death. If he does not die, everyone else dies. So there's a catch. Like, he has to die in the story. It's not just there for, like, again, the benefit of other characters. He dies for his own purposes, narratively speaking. He's a blonde news reporter. Oh my god, that just reminded me of how in Zeta Gundam, I don't know why you saying that reminded me. Oh, because he's actually like an agent, but Kai also has like an amazing glow up in frickin' Zeta Gundam, where Kai is just the biggest piece of crap you can imagine throughout all of Gundam, and then he just appears in the... Okay, this is a little silly, but he appears in the Amazon rainforest in like a full white suit, and he's like, yes, I myself am like an investigative journalist, and like I'm sneaking around, and it's like, you're sneaking around in the Amazon in a full white suit, and it's like, yeah, I look good. Okay, fair enough. You know what, Kai? You're still a bit of a douche, but you're a good-looking douche and now a good-natured douche. I don't know what happened off screen, but I like you now. Yeah, the Magellan top, yeah. Ooh. Also, Ramba Ral's wife, absolute one of the most legendary wives ever. She literally, like, her husband dies, and she just goes like, well, we're gonna complete his mission. And all of Ramba Ral's soldiers are like, yeah, we're gonna complete his mission. Like, Ramba Ral was such a Chad of a character, and they did a pretty good job with him in Gundam the Origin. They both explain, like, you know, that he did not take part in Operation British. He of course couldn't stop Operation British, but he purposely, like, you know, doesn't, like, he purposely says, like, I'm not going to take part in any of this is wrong. And then he gets demoted for it, which then explains why he's on Earth with a lot less forces than you'd expect from him when you see him earlier in the series. Sorry, in Gundam the Origin. Of course, I don't know how much of Ramba Ral's story in Gundam the Origin is close to canon, but it's an appreciated element that we do get that explained. Bright is a lieutenant. I didn't even know he was that fucking high ranked. I thought it was, again, as I said, just like effectively the equivalent of like a officer intern. But then again, as an officer, a lieutenant might not be that high. Ooh. I do like in Zeta Gundam how they knew that Bright was a character that people liked, so in Zeta Gundam, how do we show that the Titans are evil? Have them punch the crap out of Bright for, like, no good reason. Yeah, they like Bright, so they're gonna hate the Titans. Ooh. It's simple, but effective writing. If I was Bright, no, I would have pissed off somewhere else to live, like Judo. Bro got backstabbed the feds. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, Bright No is like the one good officer in the entire Federation. That's hyperbole, but Christ alive. Like, this dude just keeps going for the Federation. He keeps going up to bat for it. And the Federation's like, thank you. Have another knife in your back. You know what? I think you still have one functional kidney. There you go. You know, let's fix that problem right now. Oh, I think there's some space between some of your ribs. There is another one. If you told me that, like, Hathaway's motivation wasn't even his time in Char's counterattack, but his motivation to hate the Federation was just seeing what they did to his dad, I'd believe you. I'd believe you if he's just like, oh yeah, Char's counterattack, that wasn't really important to my life. I just kept seeing how the Federation kept screwing with my dad, and my dad was like, I just want to help you people not be so crap. And they're like, yeah, that's cool, have another knife. Judo, though, Judo did have the right idea. He's like, there's no saving Earth, I'm going to Jupiter. Ooh. Judo, absolute Chad. Judo, my favorite Gundam protagonist, the only one who gets a happy ending, because he just leaves. Judo, the character who literally did not have a high school education, is probably the smartest Gundam protagonist, because again, he just bails. He's just like, there's no saving this. What's that? My god is Tomino? Okay, better get as far away from him as possible. What's he not writing about? Jupiter? We're going to Jupiter, honey. Oh god. Oof, I leaned in too much and got a whiff of the oil. Ugh. Or whatever. What is it? Lighter fluid. Yeah. Okay, you know it's bad when I can't remember what the lighter fluid is called. Where's my mask? I don't know where my mask is. Oh god. I do like, there's one moment in Gundam the Origin that I really liked in the depiction of the Federation, because like the Zeon, depicting Zeon as bad is really easy, because I mean, they're the ones who just go like, you know what, we're just gonna kill a bunch of people and then throw a colony, into a planet. Like, I don't really know why they bothered gassing the colony. I'm kind of surprised they're just like, they're gonna die burning up in the atmosphere anyways. The gas was actually a humane choice, surprisingly. But for Zeon, it's really easy to depict them as evil, because they just commit a bunch of war crimes. But the Federation is a far more duplicitous evil. They're an old, out-of-touch oligarchy. They're a government that's lost touch with the reason it was founded, and has fallen to corruption on every level. And I really like how it's depicted in Gundam the Origin, because it's very fleeting. But what it is when Amuro and the other kids try to break into the Gundam development base, you know, the soldiers stop them. And they're all like, you know, like, okay, like, let's beat the crap out of a bunch of children. And then one of them's like, hold up. That's Amuro Ray. And they're like, oh, your dad is like the most important person here. You can go home. You're a real cool dude. We're gonna beat the crap out of the rest of you though, but you're a Nepo baby. You get a free ride. Like immediately, without hesitation, they're just like, awesome. Like, we're not putting a finger on you. And it's kind of like tragic because if they had beaten the crap out of Amuro, his dad wouldn't have cared. And I just realized that, and holy crap, is that tragic? Because his dad is oh my god. Amuro has, I guess, a dead mother. I don't really know what his story with his mother is. She never appears. No, wait, no. His mother is on Earth. So he has a distant mother who might be a deadbeat, and a dad who absolutely is a deadbeat, but he has a deadbeat dad who he lives with. Ooh. Just to come back in Gundam Crossbone, I've been told he does not have a bad ending in Gundam Crossbone, and I'm holding chat to that. I don't remember which one of you said that, but I'm holding you to that when I read Gundam Crossbone, he's not gonna just die horrifically. Ooh. That he's gonna still be my Chad. He's gonna still be my hero. Briefest to the Zeta, double Zeta into the Gump because you aren't gonna just fork over Super Mega Hyper Beam Cannon robot. Oh no, I'm kind of surprised he was allowed to. I'm kind of surprised when he went to Jupiter, he was allowed to keep that thing. It's like, really? I don't think that would have fit on like the ship he's shown flying out there. So, like, as he flew out like to Jupiter in kind of like a normal sized shuttle. So I'm not quite sure how he got that to Jupiter. Now that I think about it, let me try to catch up real quick. Banninger also got a happy ending. Awesome. Rose also got a happy ending. The first prototype Char clone, Glemmy, I don't want to call him a Char clone because he's not a true Char clone, but he's like a prototype. The prototype Char clone, he like hit on her, kind of like lost focus as a character. Then she killed him by the end because she was the only character with a real connection to him. And then she went off to Jupiter as well with Judo. I don't know if they did anything. I think they just went to Jupiter as friends. Good platonic friends. Honestly, I probably couldn't, like, I don't think I could stay friends with somebody like Rose. I kind of understand why Glemmy was like, holy crap, I need her. Yeah, Judo was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go with Rose to Jupiter. And it's just like, yeah, you know that one character that I like would have been my like his version of what is it? Like Judo had his own Frau Bow. He had his own Frau Bow, and instead of going with his own Frau Bow, he just went with like a chick who's hotter. And again, I don't even think like there was no romance between them. He just like became friends with her instead. Imagine that. Imagine not only getting friend zoned, but then you get friend zoned for another woman who herself is just a friend. Like you just never stood a chance. That's just tragedy. Ooh. Mom just wants her boy to share with her forever. God, so much of Gundam, even though it's about war, is just about parental trauma. So it's about childhood and parental trauma is so much of Gundam, but that's because Gundam itself, as it became more of a franchise, became more about generational trauma. Ooh. It just became about how nobody learns a lesson, how the next generation didn't experience the shit that, like, you know, the previous generation did. So they're just like, yeah, let's go to war again. And the previous generation, all the people who don't want to go to war are the people who lived through the war, but they're all like low ranking. So they aren't the ones who have decisions to go to war, but all the top generals who never had to be on the front lines are like, let's go to war again. And it just keeps happening and happening and happening and happening. And it's just like, wow, this is a terrible universe. Then you look outside and you're like, holy shit, that's real life. I do have to say, even though his dad, I mean, we didn't get a lot of time with his dad, I still feel really sorry when, in the original series, when we see his dad, and it says he has hypoxia. He gets brain damage from hypoxia, and immediately when he shows up in the series, and he's just like like when Amuro finds his dad, and his dad is just like really weird, is just like just has obvious brain damage. I'm like, oh shit, he has brain damage from hypoxia because he was out in space for like for hours if not days, and had to survive on minimum oxygen for that time. And it's actually just really sad. Like, Amuro finds his dad, and he's like, Dad! And his dad is just like, I need to keep working on the Gundam. I'm working on this new suit called the Gundam, Amuro. Have you heard about it? And it's just like, oh. Mental degradation hits me especially hard when I watch something because I have a family member who died of Alzheimer's. So like anytime that appears in a story, I'm always like, oh god, oh no. I recognize it immediately and I'm like, oh, don't do this. And then they're like, we're doing this every time. He is. I've never thought of him like that before, but you are A1 right. You are A1 right, Cassius. He is a Jared clone as well. And that's so sad. I was actually thinking like there are no Jared, like there are Jared clones, but there's not a lot of Jared clones. Like there are like say Char clones for obvious reasons, but there's not a lot of Jared clones, but he is absolutely a Jared clone. He is a combination of, that actually explains a lot of his character. He's like a Jared clone for the first half of the series, and then he kind of becomes, but doesn't ever fully become, a Char clone like throughout the second half of the series. And it kind of just comes out of nowhere, where he's kind of goofing around for the first half of the series, and then in the second half he just locks in, but is kind of incompetent still. So like, but you're like, but it's still the personality. Like he's just like, oh hey, the rest of Zeon is here. I guess I have to be serious now. Okay, I'm gonna like go to a civil war against the rest of Zeon. It's like, what is Glemmy, like 2 episodes ago, you were literally chasing the skirt of Rose and getting your ass whooped for it. And now you're like, okay, time to commit war crimes. It's like, that was, like, I say 2 episodes ago, that was less than 12 hours ago in the story that happened. Like, what? I think that's around the time Tomino woke up and was like, why aren't more people dying? Around the halfway point, you can tell Tomino just started getting restless again. He's still kicking ass, and oh my god, UC 50? Damn. Tomino's parents are Nepo babies themselves. I know Tomino wanted to do films, and he's just like, well, I just settled for animation, or I don't know if that's what I've heard. I've seen an interview, but God knows if it was properly translated. No. He's just like, yeah, I just settled for animation. I'd rather be doing live action, but like, you do what you do, and it's just like, Tomino, one of the most celebrated like anime creators in history, and it's like, yeah, I'm kind of a disappointment. It's like, Tomino, no. I don't know if that was properly translated, but it explains so much. Temray turned into the mecha fan from Brain Damage. He kind of did. He inhaled too much lighter fluid. He inhaled too much thinner. He forgot to put on his mask, chat. You forget to put on your mask, you end up like Papa Ray. Again, chat, I would like to thank you for recommending the brown panel liner. It doesn't pop like the black panel liner, but the subtlety in this warmer color, I really like it. I was supposed to have a poll for chat, and I forgot to make you guys a poll. I don't even know what it was supposed to be. Okay, yeah, I definitely need to close the lighter fluid. Again, I have a headache for a completely different reason, but let's not risk it. Let's keep our memes as dreams. Let's not joke, and then, 5 years down the line, me come on to stream and go, hello, guys! So it turns out, I kept the lighter fluid open a little too often. And that's why I sound like this now. Let's make sure we don't actually you know, screw ourselves over. That might be a good idea. And ooh, let's make sure we don't, that we keep our memes as dreams. And I think, is that all the prep? Is this? Oh, these are nice stickers. These are really nice stickers. I forgot how good the Gundam the Origin stickers are. I'm looking here. Do I have any? What time are we at? Also, the music just ended, I heard. Let me switch over the music while I look at what else we have. Halo 3. This supposed to be talking more about Gundam the Origin, and I just kind of stopped after a certain point, didn't I? Ah! We started talking about Gundam proper. Oh god, now I want to rewatch the original Gundam series, but I need to finish Gundam X. Oh god. I'm sure some people are probably upset about the fact that I watched all of Gundam, that I watched 6 hours of Gundam the Origin instead of watching any Gundam X over the weekend. Oh god. Gundam X is really good too. I need a full color picture. There is... Really? Really, P Bandai, you couldn't give us a little, you couldn't spend the extra money on a full spread. There's no cover picture. Okay, so I'm gonna have to, oh my god, I was gonna be like, oh, let me get the box to see what the color separation is, chat. And I immediately remembered before I even turned around, that also won't work. Oh my god. What time are we at? He reminds you of a RFK Jr. dude that got brain damage and his speech altered because mercury poisoning from eating too much fish. Damn, that's why, I didn't know that's why he got the, I know he had a stroke, but I didn't know that was the cause of it. I eat a lot of fish too. I probably should cut back, but I love tuna patties. Actually, speaking of brain damage, I am still amazed by Fetterman, who is the senator for Pennsylvania. That guy had a horrible stroke before he was elected. He could not talk at all. He was like, I can't even do an impression of it because it was like genuine brain damage. Like, and now he just gets up on TV and he's like, well, I think this is happening. And it's just like, he just talks completely normal. Like, the amount of brain damage this guy got to how he is now, he needs to be studied. Like he needs to volunteer for a medical program where they look at his brain, because holy shit, the recovery from Fetterman having brain damage is actually miraculous. Like, I don't care what your opinions on his politics are. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that this guy could not talk properly. He could not read after he had a stroke, and you would not be able to tell it today. He is surprisingly articulate. He is the head of the health department. And he's also jacked for some reason. He's one of those old dudes that, like, when you get his shirt off, and he does his images of this, where he's just super ripped. He's like J.K. Simmons, where they turned like 60 years old and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym every day. And it's like, your entire life, you're like, you never went into a gym. At the age of 60, you get bigger than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And they're just like, I got nothing better to do. It's like, I suppose so. Jesus Christ. That's why, yeah, you can get mercury because, I don't know why. It's specifically, sea fish have high levels of mercury. I was gonna say, like, lake fish, you don't have to worry about that, but lake fish, depending on the lake, probably is also polluted. But, lake fish, usually you don't have to worry about that, so if you're eating walleye or catfish, it's safer. You don't have to worry about, again, there's runoff and whatnot, so you're probably gonna get poisoned by something else, but you don't have to worry about becoming a Mad Hatter from mercury. Okay, what time are we? Okay, let me actually look at the instructions. Because we have a few minutes left before 2 hours. So I'm gonna try to build the head before stream ends. Ooh. There's a little bit more prep to do, but I want to do the head because that's the area where we have all the prep done and we can just build it straight up. We have like 15 minutes, but probably gonna take me half an hour knowing me. Ooh. Oh yeah, I do find it funny how The Rock is like, I'm not on roids, and like, I was joking about how like J.K. Simmons was bigger than him. J.K. Simmons is like real muscle. Like he's like this lean old man who has incredible tone. The Rock though, you can always tell when like it's artificial because certain muscle, because all the muscles will grow. And the fact of the matter is that when you go to the gym, you don't work every muscle in that way. They don't grow like proportionally to one another. Muscles don't grow proportionally to one another. They grow disproportionately to one another because they're doing more work. Like different muscles are doing more work when like you're moving your arm. So like your deltoid isn't going to become as big as say your biceps are. But when a guy walks in and he looks like Tien from like Dragon Ball Z during the during the Cell arc, you're like, that guy's on the roids. Like that's how you know when people got the massive deltoids, and also like when they start getting those like, when they kind of get like beer bellies that come and go, that's also another sign. Ooh. And you can tell when they are like on it because when they stop, they get skinny really quick. Like natural muscle mass, you retain, provided you're not too old, but like if you're under 40 or even under 50, you retain muscle mass for a while and it slowly degrades. If you're on roids though, it's the roids that are keeping your muscle mass, and when you stop it, it disappears. It goes so fast. Hold up, let's see. Am I going to need any more eye? Yes, I am. So let's cut off all of the eye that we need. Oh no, this is the wrong, okay. That always makes me upset when I do that. These are my lower quality sprue cutters, or my broken sprue cutters technically, that I use to cut off from gate. Let me flip this over. There we go. Yeah, he was probably also, I don't know like when he stopped, but yeah, he got real skinny, so he's probably also on him. Like, Batista was also really big. Mind you, he was a wrestler. I mean, both of them were wrestlers, so that's probably how they got into them in the first place. Yeah, but almost certainly both of them were on some level of it, because when Batista went off, he looked like a deflated human being. That's also another way you can just be like, yeah, that's not what a person's supposed to look like when they get, again, you're not supposed to go from like looking really big to looking like a 90-year-old man. And that's what Batista went from. He looked like my like 80-year-old or 90-year-old grandfather before they died. Ooh. Oh, okay, that wasn't connected to anything. Yeah, there's farms nearby. That's why if you eat from Lake Erie, don't. There are so many chemicals in Lake Erie because all like in Northwest Ohio, and I know this because I'm in the Midwest and we know about the Great Lakes, and the worst Great Lake is Lake Erie, and it's because all of the farms in Northeast Indiana, South Michigan, and Northwest Ohio all go into the Maumee River, and the Maumee River feeds into the Lake Erie. And in the past, there used to be something called the Great Black Swamp, and the Great Black Swamp would filter all of the water before it went into Lake Erie. That doesn't exist anymore. There's now a shitty city called Toledo And nobody's going to be offended by me calling it shitty, because the people in Toledo are like, yeah, this is a piece of shit, but it's our piece of shit. But there's a little crappy city called Toledo now, and all the water now just goes directly into Lake Erie, and every year there's a massive algae bloom as all the, like, you know, all the poop from the animals, all the fertilizer from the fields gets washed into the Lake Erie and kills all of the fish every year. I don't know how the fish keep repopulating it, but every year it's just like a massive algae bloom you can see from space, and it's horrific. And they're like, well, we can't use water for the next week. In Toledo, they just go, yeah, no, we just can't use water for the next week. And then it's just like, shouldn't we like make it not like, shouldn't we just do this? Nah, we're used to it. Don't worry, just buy bottled water for the next week. And it's like, okay, but what if I want to take a shower? Well, your skin's gonna burn. What? Yeah, there's a lot of chemicals in the water. Just give it a week. Trust us, you'll be fine. This is like every year. This is something that happens in a city in the US. And it's just, you know, Toledo's my favorite American third world city. Refill the swamp. If you did that to Toledo, I don't think you could tell the difference. Ooh. Oh, blue. Oh, Discord kit. Oh, they get. Oh, and the stage 2 is just them being like skinnier, and where they were a big like lumbering enemy, now they're just running around super quick all over the map. You have a completely different like profile to fight. Sometimes that's fun, but sometimes it's such a pain. It's really a matter of execution. What do we need here? We need E and H. Why aren't you both just E? Why do you have to be complicated? I will actually look that up. Dark nuts are kind of like that in Legend of Zelda, sorry. In Twilight Princess, dark nuts do that, but they're mini bosses. So it's not too bad, but it is fun in H14. H3? This isn't a podcaster. But Dark Nuts from Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, I remember were like that. But they were fun, because it wasn't like a massive change, and like you had to work your way to like knock their armor off. And once their armor's off, they're like, okay, I'm on crack cocaine now. I'm just gonna stab the hell out of you. And you're like, wait, what? The first time it happens, you're like, oh god, this is so intense. But you learn to understand it pretty quickly and get used to it. Oh, Morgot. I typed in Margot like I was gonna get Margot. Like I'm gonna get the actress. Morgot, the Omen King? Is that who I'm supposed to be looking for? Let's cut this off. Surprisingly, it's not already 2 hours. I thought I was taking so much time cutting these pieces off. Oh, what are you? Where's your E? I hate it when that happens. Normally the letters are here, but sometimes Bandai will just go like, and here is the letter. I do not appreciate that in the slightest. The annoying thing is when you get, like, the sprues on Bandai are so clean compared to some other kits, like, especially if you pick up a Warhammer kit, those sprues are some of the ugliest things you'll ever see. But, like, Bandai kits are usually really nice and clean, but when they don't follow their own rules, it confuses the hell out of me. Because you're just so used to all the sprues being the same and functioning the same way that, like, when they don't, your brain just malfunctions and you just look at the spot where something's supposed to be and you're like, where is it? The sprues are too consistent that they make it so you don't have any critical thought anymore. And where is this sprue? Hold on. There's H3. Jesus Christ. Okay, so that should be all the pieces we need, and we can start assembling it now. He's half the size. Size. He does get a little, he does become a lot smaller. I'm sure though, because of it being Dark Souls, he's probably still massive compared to the main character. Ooh. No, that's actually not true. Or is that only in Bloodborne? I know in Bloodborne there's like player character sized enemies that you have to fight, and those are played off more like duels with similar with similar sized characters than those big boss fights. I don't know if that's really done in other Dark Souls because I haven't had a chance to play them. I kind of like that Blue Destiny, in all honesty. It has a nice level of detail. Ooh. Also, did it say 1/100 kit, or was that? Oh, 1/100. Well, no wonder it has such a nice level of detail. But God, I wish I could play some other game music on stream. I'd love to play Halo and Metroid Prime music back to back, because especially the first Halo. If you ever just listen to Metroid Prime and Halo music back to back, you're just gonna be like, you're gonna forget at times which one comes from which franchise, because they're so similar. Because they're both space adventures with like kind of horror under themes, but also have grandiose moments in them as well, and they weren't like designed to be similar. It's just that they kind of just coincidentally ended up being so similar. Like, you're gonna recognize like the big grandiose pieces, but like the little atmospheric ones you're gonna like get lost in, especially the flood music. You sent a comparison? I think I saw it, but I do appreciate making sure I see the right thing. Oh! He's still bigger than the player character, it looks like, but he's not much bigger. He's like bigger as you would expect, like, you know, kind of like the Dark Nuts. I'd go back to that from Legend of Zelda, how the Dark Nuts are bigger than Link, but they're not like a massive boss. Ooh. Yeah, but he do get a lot smaller. He's all... Chat, he's a grower, not a shower. Don't judge him. Yeah, it goes from a big monster man to like just a tall dude. And oh wait, I need to put the sticker on. Where are my tweezers? There they are. Where are the stickers? Needless to say, they're at the bottom of everything. And you know what this is? These are the polycaps, and they are not in the box. Recently, for my last 2 builds, I've been losing polycaps because I'm not putting them away. We are not going to make that mistake this time. I still can't believe we completely lost the polycaps for the Shin Matsunagi high grade. And I had to literally just go into storage and find polycaps that matched. Luckily, I've built enough kits where I just coincidentally had all the polycaps I needed, but that was very awkward during the collab with Edda. Whereas it's like, oh, hold up, I need to go off stream real quick to my storage area so I can find polycaps to use. You know, I think I like these stickers. And I really like this yellow sticker, but I'm having trouble getting it off. I can't even look at chat right now because I'm literally just struggling to get this damn thing off. I don't want to use the pink eye, but are these not even stickers? These are water decals, son of a bitch! Oh my, I've never done decal. Ah, crap. No wonder they look so good though. So, well, I ruined that water slide decal. And the rest I'm gonna have to figure out. So I guess this is gonna be our first water slide decal kit. I'm gonna have to learn how to do those by next week. They do that. They do that, and it's very inexplicable why they do it. Actually, an interesting thing is, I think I don't know if they're the same year, but if it was either each one was the same year, or they were like a few months apart, if not the same year each time. But the original Metroid trilogy actually came out pretty much at the same time as the original Halo trilogy. Ooh. And they were kind of like like they were unofficial rival series while like they were coming out. Oh, I messed that up. Like you wouldn't know about it because again, like Nintendo didn't really do rivalry with Xbox. That was more of a Sony thing. But while they were coming out, they were big at the same time. Kind of forgotten in the grand scheme of things. Though it's actually an interesting thing is actually it's a demonstration of how the GameCube actually had, when it came out, is quickly surpassed by the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. But when it came out, the GameCube actually was an not overpowered. It was actually more powerful than its competition at the time, which a lot of people also forget. It was actually supposed to be like the powerful console. And then again, like it was more powerful than the Xbox and the PS2. But then again, immediately it was outstripped once the PlayStation 3 and can I get this on, please? An Xbox 360 came out, but you can see how it was actually not a half bad console, visually speaking, with if you compare Halo Combat Evolved to the first Metroid Prime game. But they both look old as hell, but you can see how there's a little bit more detail in Prime. I've never done water slides. I hope you guys can wish me luck on them. Oh god. Well, by the end of this, I'll be able to do the A10 Warthog I have in storage, so that's good. I've actually not been putting that off. Ooh. One of my few kits that's not a mecha or gunpla. I've been putting that one off, though, because it's all water slides. And there's the head, which looks pretty good. I'm a little concerned about this fin. It's a little loose, and I'm not quite sure if it's because I need to push it in more. No, that's it. It properly aligned. Yeah, it might need to be glued a little. I'm just a little after the Death Scythe. I'm a little paranoid about these pieces coming off. It's stable. It just if you push it back even a little, it breaks mold. They just take a bit of practice. Okay, I don't know if I'm supposed to use. I think tweezers will tear them, so I think I'm supposed to use Q-tips or something else. So I should look into what I need to get. I possibly need to get something a little bit better than Q-tips because Q-tips can leave cotton behind. But that is the head, no eye, sadly. But I'll put in the eye, which is going to need multiple coats. But I think I'm just going to probably use yellow paint. But I'm going to put that in next time. But we are at the end of our prep. And we're gonna stop the build for today, and we're gonna be back on Wednesday to start the Psycho Gundam. And as I said, we'll be continuing this on Monday. Ooh, and we're doing the Psycho Gundam on Wednesday because it's the start of October. Ooh, the start of spooky month, and I promised you guys the Psycho Gundam, and I don't want to push that back any. Ooh. Cheap viewers be gone, TwitchBot. Well, let me find a place to send you guys out to. I'd like to thank you for joining as well before I send you guys off. Whether you are on Twitch or YouTube, whether you're new or old, if you're new, follow along for more content. It would be highly appreciated. Ooh, I love seeing you guys here, but whether you're a lurker or a chatter, I love you guys being here. Ooh. I love doing whatever little things I can to help you guys just, you know, have that little bit of entertainment. But let me find a place to send you beautiful people off to. Yeah, I got the Psycho, wait. The Psycho Mark II. I built the Psycho Gundam last year for Halloween, and I'm building the Mark II this year. So I might not have I might have just said the Psycho Gundam, but we're gonna be doing we're gonna be comparing them at the end to see how much the model design process for Gunpla has evolved since the two. Because I think the Psycho Gundam is high grade 049. And the Psycho Mark II is like... Give me 1 minute. I'm gonna be right back. Oh god, this is a big box. Holy shit. I almost fell over. Sorry for cursing. It is high grade 2061. So there's over 200 high grades to separate these two kits. Yeah, I'm happy you were here. But let me find a place to link you guys out. I'll start on YouTube. If I can please get to YouTube. No, I don't. Just take me to YouTube. I keep clicking links for YouTube on my homepage, and they keep taking me to past streams, and they're like, this stream is no longer a thing. I'm aware. Okay, let me find a place to send you guys out to. We have to link out on YouTube, because we are not big enough to raid. So sad. I almost linked you out to Edda's stream, even though she's done and she literally raided me. I'm very dumb sometimes. Sadly, it looks like nobody's building anything right now. But I'm going to send you to another hand cam. I'm going to send you to a sunflower VTuber. Ooh, I hope you enjoy it. The old Psycho is pretty crusty. You are right about that. When we got done building it, it was like, wow, this is a really good, this is going to be a great paperweight. I'd even try to transform it. Even though it's really big, I was just like, no, I did try to transform it, and I just stopped. I pushed the head in, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing any of the rest of this. The pieces did not feel good. But here is Hanihima. She's doing a hand cam where she's also eating. It looks like she's reviewing some type of sushi, I guess. It's the only hand cam. But she's a cute little VTuber. I thought you guys might like that. For something a little more chill. And now let me look for where I can send you on Twitch. Who's on Twitch? Okay, there's 1 or 2 people, so I'm just gonna do a link instead. I'm just gonna go with the reliable Atya Tepes is playing a modded black Mesa. I'm gonna send you guys there. Okay, oh, wait, almost forgot to hit enter. Again, one last time, whether lurker or chatter, thank you for joining us. Have a great day, a wonderful life, and remember, don't lose your head. This has been Merrick Vesper signing off. Oh, wait a second. I was gonna say from me to you, but that's supposed to come earlier. But tomorrow we will be doing some Silk Song for an anger management stream. Wednesday, Psycho Gundam Mark II. Thursday, we'll be reading Wendigoon by Algernon Blackwood for, you know, our first spooky story of Spooky Month. And then on Friday, I'm totally not checking my own schedule right now because I did not forget. I totally didn't forget. We're playing Alien Isolation for Spooky Month. I totally didn't forget and have to check the schedule. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.